Hey everybody, Sean here from VidGamiac.com. Here we are today back in Mega Man 9, grabbing the Gamer's Day achievement. This is to beat the game 5 times in one real-life day. Now, how the achievement timer works is the clock is going to start at midnight and end at 11:59 p.m. So, what you can do is you can either wait till midnight, or you can alter your time zone, or you can play offline setting the clock at 12 a.m. So, before you start your first attempt, make sure you have a save handy where you've beaten all the Robot Masters and right before you start the first Wily fight. I also recommend taking the time to grind out a bunch of bolts in Plugman stage using the Jewel Satellite method with the first pipe of infinite enemies. That way, once you have the save file ready, you can just hop in the store and then you want to go for broke on healing items. So with all 8 Robot Masters defeated and all of your money grinded out, make sure you load up that save right as the clock hits midnight, and then you want to head into the store and you want to stock up on stuff. You can hold 9 1-ups and 9 E-tanks. You can also hold 1 M-tank, and what I also recommend grabbing is the damage absorber as well as 3 shock guards. And you can optionally grab a flip top and 3 of the beat calls if you want. But the main thing you want to allocate your money towards are going to be E-tanks, the M-tank, as well as the shock guard. So if you're too lazy to grind, just grind enough money to get those 4 things. Now, the reason we did so much prep work is with this achievement, you can actually just beat the game from your last save 5 times, and it will still count. So the achievement is just for reaching the game's ending 5 times in one day, instead of starting all the way from the beginning of the game and then going all the way through. And what that is going to amount to is you having to beat the Dr. Wily stages 5 times in a row, because that is the last point in the game where you can make a save. So that should save you a bunch of time, since you don't have to beat the 8 Robot Masters 5 times. You just need to do the Dr. Wily stages, but obviously the Dr. Wily stages are going to be super hard. So I'm going to be doing my best to walk you through this so you can get good enough at the game to beat it consecutively 5 times within 24 hours. So what you want to do is you want to start up, you want to hit up the Jewel Satellites. That should get you through the first parts really well, since nothing can hit you. Once you get to the ending of the first set of pits, what you want to do is you want to stop right here. You want to wait for a break in the fire where the enemies don't spawn anymore, and you want to quickly switch over to the laser trident and then kill the first bulldozer enemy. You can shoot through his shields using the laser trident, so make sure you do that instead of waiting for him to put his shield down and you trying to shoot him with a Mega Buster. Then switch over to Tornado. You want to take the Tornado elevator up, go to this room, Tornado on the first one, and as it's rising up, jump to the second one. Once you get up here, grab the power-up on the left, jump on the elevator, Tornado up, grab this power-up. Then you need to jump over here and then hit the Tornado again. You want to jump on this one, and then you want to wait for this one to go down. Now, you can either do some tricky platforming using the Tornado. However, we are going to save the rest of our Tornado and just use the Rush Jet for the last part. So use it until you get to here, then quickly unequip it and then re-equip it so you can save some weapon power, and then make sure you jump on this platform. It's way easier than trying to jump over this, and since we have more Rush Jet to use, we're going to use that. Switch to the Laser Trident, get rid of the 2 bulldozer enemies. Remember to stay far back enough from them so they don't hurt you, and you should be able to take them out from a distance. Once you get to this next part, you want to use the Tornado Blow that we saved up so you can quickly get rid of the tree guys without taking any hits, and then you want to switch over to the Black Hole Bomb because we have to fight our first mini boss. So the first mini-boss is going to be a repeat of the dragon from Magma Man's stage. So what you want to do is you want to shoot off the black hole. You want to shoot it in front of him. It should absorb all of his flames and then deal a ton of damage while not doing any damage to you. So if you get the timing down right, you can actually do this entire fight without taking a hit, and he should go down in about 3 shots or so. Get to the next screen, there is a 1-up there you can grab using the Hornets. However, we are going to switch over to the Jewel Satellite because there is a spot coming up where we can farm items. So because all of our weapon power doesn't restore between stages, you want to take advantage of every opportunity you can to fill up all of your weapons. So what you want to do is you want to keep the Jewel Satellite lit, and you want to just walk back and forth, and you want to grab as much power-ups as you can, and you want to try to fill every weapon. So it might take a few minutes, but it's well worth it in the end. Once you are satisfied with filling up all of your health as well as weapons, you can also grab some 1-ups here if you're lucky. Make sure you climb the ladder, switch over to the concrete shot before you get into the next room, and then you want to quickly climb up the ladder. You have the beams of insta-death. You want to jump, shoot the concrete shot off and to make a platform, run, grab the ladder, don't go up quite yet. Make sure you switch to the rush coil before you get up here. Once you get to the top, you want to hold right, and then you want to spawn the rush coil in as quickly as possible. So what you see me do here is, as I'm climbing the ladder, I'm holding right and mashing the fire button. As soon as I get to the top, I let go and then quickly jump on rush. As I'm in the air, I'm holding right so my character can float over to grab the middle ladder. The reason you want to grab the middle is because if you end up on the left side, you'll reach a dead end. And if you land in the middle ladder, what you can do is you can climb up, you can wait for the beam to disappear, and then you can quickly jump to the right side. If you timed it quickly enough, you should make it unscathed. Once you get to the room with the pendulum, this is another one you can avoid by using the rush coil, so make sure you spawn it in on the block, take it up to the lift, and then take this thing up to the ladder. Once you're up here, you can avoid the tricky jumps by using the rush jet, so make sure you take this across, make sure you jump before rush crashes into the thing, and then one more to get to the ladder. For this room, the black hole bomb will make quick work of the 2 trees. Make sure you try to pop it in between them so you can get them in one shot, or if you're not so good of a shot, you can get it in 2, and that way you can avoid taking any damage here. So we can go into the first boss fight with as much health as possible. Climb to the top of the ladder, use the laser trident to get rid of the bulldozer dude. This should take him out, no problem, and get ready for the first boss fight. Alright, the first boss fight is going to be against the spike pushers. Pretty simple fight. All you have to do is just shoot the spike balls into the enemy. So if you touch the spike balls, it will result in an instant death, so make sure you don't get too close. They are also going to try to push these things towards you, but if you stay out of their way, you should be good. So the trick with doing this efficiently is to just pick the 2 on the bottom and then alternate between the 2. Once one of them disappears, just stick to the other and don't jump up while they're moving the spike ball. So you kind of want to play passively right here. You want to keep your distance. Remember, your Mega Buster can shoot across the screen, and you just want to use this thing to get the job done. Once both of them disappear on the bottom, you just need to climb to the top and then mop up the rest. That signals the end of the fight. If you take too many hits, remember you can use your E-Tank right here. I would recommend saving 1 E-Tank per boss, so that's the way you kind of want to space them out. Remember, you have the 9 E-Tanks as well as 1 M-Tank, so you have 10 chances to fill up your health all the way. So take advantage of that and spread it out accordingly across the 4 Wily stages. So as you can see right here, once the 2 on the bottom disappear, you can just go to the top and then take out the other 2. Alright, on to Wily Stage number 2. So, start of the stage, you get 2 power-ups. I recommend putting these towards your Rush Jet as well as your Black Hole Bomb, as those will come in handy towards the later half of the stage. So make sure you invest in those, and then the side of the ladder you want to take up is going to be the left side. So once you get to the top, there should be some Metors on this screen, so be a little bit careful with your positioning. Quickly take out the one on the left. There's a 1-up here if you need it, if you died during the last fight. Take the concrete shot and then pop a block down. You can use that to climb to the top. If you go the other way, you have to use the laser tridents to get rid of that block. Once you climb up here, there's going to be 3 of the shock sentries. Make sure you use the black hole bomb, pop it down in the middle, and that should get rid of all 3 of them. Then you have to do a series of short hops. However, if you use the rush jet, you can skip this first part. I recommend using the rush jet for the bottom half and then just jumping across the first half. Since the ceiling is a lot closer to you on the bottom, it's easier to make those top jumps. Once you're up here, you have another split you can decide. Use the plug ball to take out the eyeball, then switch to the laser trident to remove the block. Going this way, you have to fight enemies. Going the other way, you have to deal with spikes. So for this first part, I'd rather deal with the enemies. Just jump down, take out the eyeballs, and then get to the next fork. This time, we are going to go with the spikes side, so just use the rush jet to float over the spikes, and then once you get to the ladder, switch back to the Mega Buster. Once you get here, you want to use the black hole bomb to get rid of the gunner, as well as the spotlight guy if you are trying to go for the World Warrior achievement, since he is needed and is a new enemy. So to get up to the next set of platforms, you either need to use the concrete shot or the rush coil. Once you get up here, you want to be careful of the fake blocks. I recommend popping the jewel satellite up in case you run into the electric sentry. And while you're up here, keep in mind that there is a fake block underneath the ladder, so you have to jump in order to make the next room. Once you're up here, I recommend using the black hole bomb again to get rid of the gunners. You can fight them if you want to, but I always hated fighting them since they require too much patience, and we are kind of in a rush. So once you get through this, you want to just take the ladder up. The fake blocks don't really play any role here. Once you get to this room, I like using the tornado blow to clear the room and just using the rush jet to get across so we don't have to deal with any tricky jumps. So as you can see, filling up the rush jet and the black hole bomb really helps out for this part since you can just bypass a lot of the enemies. Once you're in this room, you have to use the rush jet to get here. You want to hug the wall and then float down. You are going to have to fight the mini boss from Hornet Man's stage, the flower thing. So concrete shot to shoot at an arc, or you can just use the Mega Buster or Magma Bazooka to shoot across. I always hated this fight since I can never focus on two things at once with the swinging arm thing and trying to guess where the plant's going to spawn. So I wouldn't blame you if you needed to use a 1-up here, since I always had to use a 1-up, unless you get really lucky with the plant spawning. If you can get him spawning in a spot where you can consistently shoot him, you should be good for this fight. Other than that, just get through it. Next up is going to be the underwater segment. Make sure you grab the health as well as the power up. I recommend putting this towards the black hole bomb since we have some mines to deal with later. And of course, the only way you can kill them is with either the black hole bomb or the tornado blow. So drop down, ignore the first octopus unless you really want to kill him, and focus on the second one. Remember to shoot his body to get his head to pop out, and then quickly do a short hop and shoot his head. It's a little frustrating because of the underwater thing. It makes your jumps higher, so you'll have the thing where your shots go over him, and he does fire the ink pellets, which will usually absorb the shots. So whatever the case, once he's gone, just carefully make it to this side. Then you have another fork in the road. The bottom fork will take you to an E-tank. However, it's a very, very treacherous path, so just ignore it. Go to the top. Make sure you jump past the first mine, get to the second, pop down a black hole to absorb both of them. Same thing with the third and fourth. Get to this room, you want to switch back to the Mega Buster. You want to jump and shoot. Some fish torpedo are going to fly in from the right, so be a little careful. Get to the next screen, you want to do a short hop so you can fake out this fish torpedo. Then you have to make this very tricky jump. Hold A too long, you'll hit the spikes on top and either instantly die or waste one of your shock absorbers. Hit A too quickly and you will not clear the jump. Once you figure out the balance, just run to the right. You want to hug the wall and then jump up. You should be able to clear that corner jump. To get past this set of spikes, you want to first laser trident the block out of the way and then use the rush coil. Pop it down and you should be able to drop down, hit the coil, and then bounce up. Now this upcoming jump is actually very, very difficult, so first clear the blocks out of the way using the laser trident. You want to switch to the concrete shot, and then what you want to do is you want to jump here. You want to inch oh so carefully forward, 1 foot on the block, and then you have to do a short hop. If your jump is too short, the block should be able to catch you and you can quickly do another short hop to get back onto the platform. If your jump is too strong, you'll hit the spikes and once again waste one of your shock absorbers or instantly die. Whatever the case, just hit the block using the laser trident in the corner and then do another short hop, hug the wall, and just float into the gap. Next room is pretty easy. Just jump and shoot the torpedo fish and then you should be safe to clear the spikes. Climb up the ladder and then you should be in this room. Quickly take out the 2 spotlight enemies. You can use the black hole bomb to make things easier and be careful of their fake blocks. The trick is to drop down and then jump to the far right block and then jump up here, then drop straight down and then just climb the ladder. Alright, this next room is actually pretty simple. It's just a bunch of ladders in an S shape. What you want to do is you want to climb the left side, and then there should be one of those exploder enemies. Just wait till his explosion goes off. Make sure you stay in the corner, and then you can quickly climb to the top without getting hit. This one, you can quickly kill him, but you can also just drop down if you really want to save some time. Drop down here, you want to climb this ladder. If you timed it right, you could actually drop into that gap and then save yourself a bit of time. However, I recommend just going from the bottom since it's easier to time that guy's shot. Once you get to the top, quickly kill the UFOs on the right and then turn your attention to the left. Kill the UFO and the blaster guy, and then you have this guy. the Stomper. Very, very frustrating. If you have a lot of patience, you can do the thing where you kind of kite him to the left, climb the ladder, put some shots into him, climb back down, rinse and repeat. You can also try to use the plug ball if you want to, or if you're like me, you're going to end up being very impatient and end up taking a hit. Whatever the case, he is really annoying since he'll drain like a quarter of your health. But whatever the case, once he goes down, you should be able to move to the right where you'll fight another one of him. However, with this one, they actually give you some room to fight him, so he's actually pretty easy. So once you drop down, just get ready to shoot right away, and you should be able to get this guy before he gets you. Head into the next room for boss fight number 2. Alright, before you enter the boss room, you want to make sure you equip the jewel satellite right away, and then you want to enter. As soon as the fight starts, pop up your satellite, and that way you can tank the first couple of hits from the missiles. So you fight the tail fin first, and then it's going to shoot out 3 missiles. You should be invincible thanks to the jewel satellite. As the helicarrier is going down, switch over to the laser trident. You can use this thing to shoot through the missiles and hit the hatch while it's open. As it's floating back up, just switch back to the jewel satellite, pop the shield back up, and then tank some more hits. Pretty much the strategy is to switch between the laser trident and the jewel satellite. If you're a really good shot with the laser trident, you can just use it to shoot through the missiles as the helicarrier is in the up position. However, we're trying to save ammo, and since we're not really using the jewel satellite for the rest of this stage, we are going to swap between the two. Then you want to switch over to the magma bazooka. Stage 2 of the fight is the undercarriage of the helicarrier. It's going to have 2 of these things. You want to shoot both of them. They'll shoot shark missiles at you, but all you have to do is just stand on the ground and then use the arc of the magma bazooka's split, and then you should be able to shoot down both of them fairly quickly. Switch over to your hornet buddies, and then you have to fight the mouth of the helicarrier. It's pretty easy. All you have to do is just shoot your buddies when the mouth is open, and whenever you run out of ammo, just switch over to the laser trident, and with that, you just have to jump and shoot. So I recommend using an E-tank if your health gets too low. Don't underestimate the firepower of this thing. This thing will do damage to you, so it's best to use your E-tank earlier than later. But whatever the case, if you do lose a life, your weapon power doesn't come back, so it's best not to mess up during boss fights. If you do want to burn 1-ups, I recommend doing it at the start of the fight and without wasting any weapon power, because if at any point in the Wily run your weapon powers run too low, you are going to be in for some serious trouble, or you are going to have to spend a ton of time trying to farm weapon power. So keep those few rules in mind, especially with this boss fight. So once you take him out, you should be good for Wily Stage number 2. On to Wily Stage number 3, you are going to go to the right. You are started off with 2 Stompers. Pretty easy since they give you a ton of room to fight them. As long as you don't back up too far, you should be good. If you do, they will respawn thanks to the stage scroll, so be a little careful of that. Just move forward and then just don't be too big of a coward when fighting these guys. As you can see right here, having them respawn is quite annoying, especially when they respawn on both sides of you. If that happens, just try to time it where you can run underneath them and then get them on one side, and you should be able to take them out easy peasy, or just run to the next screen. Whatever the case, once you get here, you should be introduced to your first anti-gravity segment. The way these work is you can use the Mega Buster in order to shoot you across the room, and what you have to do is you have to avoid obstacles in 0 gravity. So first one's pretty simple, just stay to the right, and then once you get to this screen, try to float over to the left. Careful not to take the hit from the eyeball. If you can time it right, you can actually dodge him, and then once you get to the screen, just stick to the left side. This first part's actually pretty easy. It's only the first 2 screens that are a little hard, but with these last 2, as long as you hug the left side of the wall, you can avoid all the enemies. Once you get to here, just do 1 shot to float over to the ladder, and then once you are in this room, just jump up. You have to fight the shield guys and some of the diamond guys. This stage can get a little hard, especially once it gets to the parts with the gaps, but other than that, you just need to be a little careful. If you run into any trouble focusing on 2 things at once, what I recommend doing is using the black hole bomb to take out the diamond guys and using the rush jet to take care of any complicated jumps you have to do. Grab the health pellet on this platform if you need it. Drop down. There are 2 more health pellets on this screen. Careful for the diamond dude. Take him out before he can take you out. Health pellet right here. For the drop, I recommend dropping down on the right side because there is some weapon power on this side. I recommend filling up the tornado blow, so make sure you switch over to that, fill that guy up, and then drop down. As you can see, there are a set of ladders right here, and at the bottom of the right ladder is where you want to go. There's going to be a big weapon pellets right there, and we're going to use this thing to fill up the rush jet. So once you have all the power ready, just drop down where you're supposed to go, which is on this side. As you can see from before, there are 2 shield guys we have to deal with, so hug the left side of the wall, you should be safe. Shoot him as he's leaving, and then just do the same thing with the guy on the bottom. Other than that, once we get to this part, we have some of the machine gunners. You can use the black hole bomb or the tornado to take them out, so do that. Try your best not to miss like I did. So just try to arc the shot right. Careful not to take too excessive of a hit, but we are going to heal up next. So once you get to here, I recommend using your M-Tank. The reason for that is we are going to pick up an M-Tank coming up soon, and you can only hold one at a time. So it's best not to waste this one and just use it to fill up any of our weapon powers to full strength. So once you have that, you want to switch back to the Mega Buster. Get to this part, you have the second anti-gravity segment. Quickly fire your way over to the right. If you were quick enough, you should be able to dodge that enemy who will fly you into the spikes. Once you get to the second screen, make sure you float your way over to the left. You want to be 1 character width away from the left border of the screen. This should keep you safe for the third screen as well. Once you're past the second half of the third screen, you want to float over to the far left. Once you're here, this thing should grab you, but it will float you over to the M-Tank, so make sure you don't kill it. Once it lets go of you, you want to quickly shoot to the right as quickly as possible to float over to the left. Once you're up here, you have some fake 1-ups. Make sure you take them out. Very important and very missable towards the World Warrior achievement if you're going for that. There is a real 1-up to your left if you need it. However, we have managed to get this far without dying, so we're just going to ignore it. Go to the right, there are some Meteors over here. Be a little careful and shoot them and get ready for the next platforming bit. So this is where the tornado power-up is going to come in handy since it's a bunch of cannons. What you want to do is you want to try to get both cannons in screen, hit them with a tornado, that should clear them, and then switch back to the Mega Buster, move your way to the left. You can try to take this guy out with a Mega Buster. The height clearance is good enough, however, we're just going to use the tornado because we're lazy. And then be careful on these jumps. Just do a bunch of short hops. If you're absolutely worried about not making it, you can use the rush jet to clear some of those trickier jumps, and then switch back whenever you're ready. Once you get to this screen, there's going to be a cannon and a machine gun guy. Tornado takes care of them, or you can use the black hole bomb. Doesn't really matter. Rush jet makes those jumps a lot easier, and then just switch back to the Mega Buster. Carefully go over here. There's a Meteor you can hit with the black hole bomb. I wouldn't waste a tornado on him, but that's the reason we filled up both. A lot of small jumps here, so be very careful not to hit your head on the ceiling. Don't go too far like I did because I accidentally spawned in the machine gun guy. Now I have to deal with both of them on either side, so I panicked and just ended up using a jewel satellite, which should deflect their shots, however it won't kill them. Once you're in a safe spot, either hit him with the black hole bomb or hit him with the tornado, but you can very easily avoid him if you don't get too far on the screen scroll, and whenever he's in frame, just hit him with the black hole bomb. Quickly jump across. That's a fake 1-up. Don't waste your time getting it. And then you have the Stomper guy, which you could take your time to kill him if you want to. However, we are going to try our best to slide underneath him and fail miserably as he takes away 1/4 of our health. But this guy is very easy to get past, and they give you quite a bit of room to fight him, so it's not too bad. But once you get into this chasm, the third boss fight is about to start. So, boss number 3 is actually going to be quite simple as long as you practice this very simple pattern. So, it's going to resemble the Yellow Devil from Mega Man 1, and the pattern you want to practice is going to be straight jump, wait, jump and shoot when the eyeball is out, straight jump, then another straight jump, then you want to wait a little bit, you want to do a short hop, then you want to do another straight jump, you want to do a forward jump, jump over that ball, duck under the second one, and then you want to turn around. Always face the same direction as the eyeball, and you should be able to do this fight without getting scratched. It takes 28 shots from the Mega Buster in order to take him out, so it's a pretty long fight, but doing it this way, you are pretty much invincible, and make sure you get that pattern ingrained into your brain, since we are playing this 5 times. It's very good to practice here on your first playthrough. The pattern never changes even when the eyeball switches screen sides, so as long as you get that 10-step pattern down, you should be able to do this fight, once again without getting hit. So whatever the case, once you land the final shot, you should be good for Wily Stage 3, and we can move on to the last part. Alright, Wily Stage 4 is going to start off with 4 small pellets. Make sure you fill up whatever you need. As you can see, I either need some black hole bomb or tornado blow mostly. It doesn't really matter since we are going to need a ton of power since this stage has the boss rush towards the end. If you miss the platform, just use the rush coil to get up. Since there's no more real tricky platforming segments, we don't really have to worry about having the rush coil nor the rush jet, so it's okay to waste power on those. However, the rest of your power-ups you kind of want to save, especially the concrete shot since we need that to get through the beginning of the stage. So what you want to do is you want to drop down, equip the plug ball. That will make taking out this Meteor a lot easier since he appears at an angle. To get past the lasers, you need to hit it with a concrete shot, and then you want to jump across. So we will be wasting concrete shot, however the boss that the concrete shot is good against, which is Galaxy Man, is easy enough to beat with the Mega Buster, so don't feel too bad about being overly conservative with the concrete shot. Once you get here, you have 2 lasers, which is actually a little tricky to get past. I always just take the hit here and walk past. Quickly kill the Meteor before it can hurt you. There's also 2 small power pellets up there in case you need to fill more stuff. So just use the rush coil to get them if you missed the first jump. So once again, don't worry about wasting your rush coil since we don't really need it anymore since the game's about to end. So jump on down, and then we have this screen. I just like to tank the hit here so I can walk past the spikes. Whatever the case, you can block it and try to jump across the spikes, but there are going to be 2 small health ups here, and then 2 more small power pellets. So once you grab those, we're going to switch back to the Mega Buster, and then get to the penultimate screen before the last boss fight. So once again, concrete shot to block out the laser, and then you have this Meteor, who's actually quite useful if you are patient enough. What you can do is you can actually farm this Meteor for power and health ups. Just use the screen scroll in order to respawn him, and the reason this Meteor is respawnable is because you have to use a concrete shot in order to get past this laser field, so the game had to put a way for you if you ran out of power with your concrete shot. So whatever the case, you can either use that to do what the game intends you to, or you can just abuse it to fill up the rest of your power-ups. Whatever you plan on doing with your time, keep in mind that you get no power-ups between the boss rush nor the Dr. Wily fight. So you can grab this one up here with your Hornet buddies if you want to. Once you drop down, you have 1 thing of big health and then 1 big power-up. So use this to fill whatever power-up you need. Personally, I recommend filling up the Tornado since the Tornado is only really useful when it's full. But you can also put this towards something else if you really want to. So whatever the case, just fill up your remaining thing. You could also be like me and be an idiot and fill up the Rush Jet, even though we're not going to use it for the rest of the game. But on to your quintessential Mega Man Robot Rush mode. We are going to start off by taking any of the easy bosses out. So we're going to equip the concrete shot, hit up the upper left to fight Galaxy Man first. At this point, you should know how to fight the Robot Masters, but what you want to do for Galaxy Man is make sure you try to jump over him when he rushes you, and then when he's at the top of the screen, make sure you run back. He pops his black hole down, and you want to run in the opposite direction. Quickly turn and shoot to do some damage, and with the concrete shot, if you can time it right, if you hit one of his black holes, it should freeze and also turn him into concrete, which allows you to land some more shots off. So pretty simple fight. Just be careful of that spacing and careful when he rushes you. And your goal for all of these robot fights is not to lose too much health. Another note to keep in mind is using a 1-up will restore all of your health when you respawn. However, it won't restore any of your weapon power. So what I recommend doing is if you ever find yourself in a spot where you're about to enter a boss fight and you are about to die anyways since you have low health, what you want to do is you want to let the boss kill you without you fighting back. That way when you respawn, you're going to have all your health. However, you won't lose any of your weapon power, and that way when you rematch the boss, you can come in with full health and full weapon power. So that's how you want to use your 1-ups, and it's only really effective here since you get a checkpoint between every boss fight. Second boss we are going to fight is going to be the center left. We are going to just use the black hole bomb to destroy Jewel Man. Pretty simple. Remember that Jewel Man only jumps when you jump, and then just pop the black hole bomb down. Switch over to the magma bazooka, and then go to the center right. You fight Hornet Man. Just use the spread to kill all 3 of his hornets. He can't fight back if there are no hornets on screen. Make sure you jump over him whenever he rushes the middle, and then just spam the magma bazooka, and he should go down in like a few hits. Next fight we are going to do is against Concrete Man. Equip the laser trident and then start up the fight. He's going to be in the middle of the left column. So pretty simple. All you have to do is just make sure you jump whenever he lands and then try your best to dodge his concrete things. They will stun you if you get hit. I wasn't having the best luck with this playthrough fighting Concrete Man, so I had to end up using an E-Tank because I didn't want to waste my laser trident. If worst comes to worst, that's what you want to do also, but this pattern is otherwise pretty simple. But just be a little patient and time your jumps well, and try to dodge those concrete shots because those things are fatal if he does hit you with it, because his jumping attack will drain your health. But laser trident him to death, and that's one more fight down. On to Splash Woman. She's going to be the bottom left corner. Her weakness is going to be your Hornet buddies, so make sure you equip that. Once you start up the fight, make sure you do your best to dodge the opening salvo of fish torpedoes. Basically, what you want to do is once she floats to the top, you just want to spam your Hornet buddies until she dies. As she's shooting the tridents, she's just going to get eviscerated by these things. And whenever one dies, just pop 3 more up, and then she should die in like 10 seconds. Pretty simple. Then after that, we are going to tackle Plugman next. His weakness is going to be the Jewel Satellite. This fight can get a little annoying if you don't have a full weapon bar, since you are going to run out of Jewel Satellites, but my best advice is to block off his 2 attacks and then run into him using your shield. He's going to take a hit, pop another shield up, and then keep deflecting his shots. If you run out of Jewel Satellite power, his next best weapon is going to be the Black Hole Bomb. If not, the Mega Buster is also pretty useful here, so you can just spam him to death. Moving on to Tornado Man, his weakness is going to be the Plug Ball. It's actually another simple fight, however, it is a little luck-based since the Plug Ball can only hit him if he's touching the floor or one of the walls. So if he's in that position, all you have to do is just shoot the Plug Ball his way. So if you're lucky, he'll land on the floor and you just spam. If he floats up, make sure he's clinging to one of the walls and he should go down. And then we are on to the last boss, who is going to be Magma Man. Now, Magma Man can be a little tricky if you don't have a full tornado blow meter. The reason for that is you only get 4 shots off with this thing, and it's not enough to take him out. So all you have to do is just spam the tornado blow, and then once you run out, you have to quickly switch to another weapon. So I recommend using the Black Hole Bomb or your Mega Buster if you're good enough with it. This guy will do a ton of damage. Unfortunately, once again, I didn't have the best of luck with this second stage of the fight, and I had to resort to using an E-Tank, which put me at a very, very low E-Tank count for the final Dr. Wily fight. So whatever the case, if you do mess up, just try your best to do this with another weapon. Alright, on to the Wily fight. This is going to take place across 3 stages. The first stage is actually probably the most annoying. He's going to shoot these eggs at you, and what you have to do is you have to ricochet them back at him, but they'll only do damage if they touch the mouth part of the robot, which means you have to shoot these at an arc. I recommend using the Mega Buster for this, however the Magma Bazooka is a really good second option since it shoots in an arc, but since it's a special power and you have to wait till the effect goes off the screen, you are pretty much a sitting duck while it gets bounced back if it does miss. So just use the Mega Buster and try to time the shots right. Once it goes down, I recommend you use an E-Tank or the M-Tank, since we do need all of our weapon powers for the next 2 stages. Stage 2 is going to require you to have the concrete shot, so make sure you switch over to that. And it's really easy if you have a full bar of concrete shot. Once again, all you have to do is just aim for the mouth part. It's pretty simple. And just try to get to the arc right. He will shoot this flamethrower at you. You can actually dodge it by jumping into the apex of the arc. And other than that, he's just going to try to squish you. However, you can lead him to the other side of the screen and then quickly run back, jump up, and spam the concrete shot. It's also right here where I recommend you use the half damage power-up that we bought earlier from the weapon shop. So we just saved it for the Dr. Wily fight so we can take more hits. And on to the Wily capsule. So you want to switch over to the tornado blow, and then you want to wait for him to spawn in. Make sure you hit the tornado blow. Remember, he can only be hit if he's about to shoot off a weapon, so try not to get faked out because you will be wasting your ammo. But once you run out of tornado blow, the next best weapon to use is going to be your Hornet buddies, which is also going to be quickly drained of its ammo. However, same thing, make sure you hit him when he's about to shoot you. That's how you know he's going to stay on the screen. Try your best not to get faked out. But the cool thing with the Hornets is they have kind of a lingering effect, so they can still hit him if you shot it at the right time. But these are going to be your first two weapons. As soon as you exhaust these, we're going to just use the magma bazooka. This thing shoots in a spread, so this thing is also pretty good at shooting at him, but you're going to have a harder time when he's at the very top of the screen. If you run out of that for whatever reason, your next best bet is going to be the laser trident, but once again, you're limited to the bottom third of the screen once you switch to that, since it only shoots in a straight line. Use the rest of your E-tanks or whatever you have left in this fight, and you just want to pretty much just empty the gas tank out on this guy. It's pretty hard, but if you manage to save all of your stuff toward the end, you can just keep tanking hits and just beat this without any real strategy. If you're good at the game, you can actually figure out how to do this, but whatever the case, once he goes down, you will be one playthrough done towards the 5 we need. So just watch the last cutscene and then get through the credits. You should have beaten the game once at this point, which will give you that achievement if you don't have it already for whatever reason. Also, hopefully you should get World Warrior if you manage to defeat all of the different types of enemies. When you get to this screen though, very important that you do not save over that other slot. The reason for that is we need that slot in order to do the exploits we need. So what you want to do is you want to back out to the main menu, go to Game Start, go to load up that slot, and then all you have to do is just beat the Wily stages. Rinse and repeat another 4 times to get to 5. Hopefully you can do this in under the 24-hour time limit, but once you get playthrough number 5 done, you should be good for the achievement. There it is, 20 gamer score, and that's all there is to it.